evening, ladies as well as gentlemen. It's Papa Boris here with some more Dungeonmans. So in the last video, I died, and then it turned out I hadn't died, and then I really died. So my Psychomancer is gone. We saw that the class was very strong. It dealt tons of damage and laid waste to things. But if you ever get up to something that has a ton of health and deals high damage to you, you can easily find yourself splat. Now let's go ahead and make a new hero. This hero has one objective. I need to get through that frickin' tower, man. I gotta get through that tower. That's just like the cross I bear here. So we're gonna go ahead and call this hero, gosh. Let's see, do you want a lady? I had a lady band. I'm gonna make a Bannermans again, because I think that's the hero that I want to do the tower with. There are still two classes I haven't shown. There's the Necromancer and the Southern Gentlemans, neither of which I particularly like. I'll show those some other time. I don't know. I'm just not really into either of those classes particularly. I will show some different things, though, with this new character, so don't worry. It won't just be all Bannermans all the time. But since the first lady was a lady Bannermans, let's go ahead and make a man Bannermans this time. So we're going to call this person Everegg. And let's see for his stats. Alright, seems like the highest total is this one. So let's grab that one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to do Bannermans. I'm going to show off a quote-unquote new class, the Dungeonmans. So this is kind of interesting. It's called Professionals Only, but I disagree. I think the only Professionals Only classes are the Necromancer and the Southern Gentlemans, because these are, like, fuck all really hard to play correctly. And it's really hard to just use them effectively. Everything else is more or less go around, fight things with a bow or with your fists or with a weapon, and then on top of that, you know, make sure you use consumables intelligently. But these two, the Necromancer and the Southern Gentlemans, if you have like all your mastery points in their trees, they're like kind of fucked up and very tricky to play. Now the Dungeonmans is not really a professional class. Basically, all this does is it gives you one of every type of weapon and armor, and it gives you 5 mastery points to spend. So it's actually strictly better than any other class in the game, because any other class in the game you can recreate with the Dungeonmans. There's nothing that you get by picking one of the preset classes that you cannot get with the Dungeonmans, but you also start with extra loot, or you know, extra weapons and gear, as well as the ability to not waste points. Now for this Bannermans, we're going to learn from past mistakes. So first of all, Mad Thirsty was a poor choice because the stamina cost was really frustrating, and the potion drinking thing wasn't that useful. I think this would be better for a Psychomancer, which is what I will try with the next Psychomancer that I play. Tireless doesn't seem to be that good when you look at it at first, but it's something that's worth considering for a Bannermans, because that light spear is one that you may want to use somewhat frequently to shoot down ranged enemies, since getting things at range is really your biggest problem when you play Bannermans. But I'm not going to take it here, since we've basically done everything except for this, which is just absolutely terrible. I am going to grab faster stamina recovery, so this should be a lot easier with stamina. Not only am I not going to have a perk that increases my stamina cost, but I'm going to grab a perk that gets me my stamina back faster, and I'm actually going to take Pneumatize. Now this is risky because, you know, everyone does die, and taking 15% more damage from everything does kind of screw you over. However, there are going to be times where it's really useful to have that extra action. You can basically take a step back and then attack an enemy with your polearm, so you get like a free attack against something every 5 rounds that you're really trying to kill. When you combine it with your banner, that also means that you are getting extra lifesteal. So it's really cool, and this can be used to kind of, you know, drink, like you can basically use this to drink a free potion once every 5 rounds, kind of like Mad Thirsty, except that, you know, you're taking more damage from everything rather than having higher stamina costs, and I'd rather take the extra damage. The thing is, having higher stamina costs sucks, because you can run out of stamina and not be able to use a power, whereas taking more damage from everything only matters if you actually die. Okay, are there any things that I have not used yet? So I'm pretty sure... I wish I could remember. I know I've used that guy. That doesn't particularly fit. These are ladies over here. That's a wizard, but there's 2 wizards. So the first wizard I used was this guy. I'm gonna, I guess, go ahead and use that guy. It's a polearm. He's just a very weirdly dressed... He's just a really weirdly dressed polearm person. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so here we are. Everegg. The egg of all time. Alrighty. Thanks, bud. Is there anything in here? Nope. Let's go over to the library. Get these scrolls. pre-identified. Go over here. Get the potions pre-identified. What's in the vault? Oh, it's the staff, which I can't use. Okay, it's fine. And let me go to the museum. Let's see here. What do we have? Well, let's take one of each out. Because why not? Got a bow. Discount short bow, not that great. And we got a Gildemolard. Oh my god. Well, that's going to make the beginning a whole lot easier. Holy butt crack Christ. That's perfect. So it's a polearm, 3d6 plus 1. Heals you a little bit and adds cold damage. Not my favorite. I would like to get the freezes enemies in place thing. At the same time, I'm not going to go crazy trying to get that. Because, you know, if I don't get it, then I'm not going to keep going around for scrolls. And, you know, you have to buy the scroll that clears out all the magic properties, then get scrolls that add magic properties. If I don't get the freezing, I don't get the freezing. That's fine. Okay, so that's cool. I'll be using that weapon for a long time. Now, however, remember, I'm not actually a Bannermans. I picked Dungeonmans. So if you notice, we have a little bit of everything. So no matter what you ultimately decide to do, you've got the right equipment to use it. So you got bows. If you use those, you got a tuning weapon. You got, you know, all the armor types, shields, medium, real, etc. So it's strictly better than the other classes because you can actually sell off the stuff that you don't use. They do have, you know, prices here, and then get a little bit of extra money. Not that it matters that much, but, you know, it matters somewhat. Okay, so what are we going to do here? Well, we need to do, first things first. In here, I am going to want Shieldcraft eventually, because that will let me use shields with my polearms. I am, of course, also going to want the Banner of the Herald and the Light Spear. Aha, so this is the skill that grants polearm use, so I definitely need to take that so I can build my polearm. And I'll take the banner right now to make sure that I have it. So let's get that and that. For armor, I think real armor is important to get right off the bat so that you can use fervor against tough enemies that you fight. Besides that, though, I could save my points and try to get lots of things at level 3 at the same time. You can do that with Dungeonmans, which you can't with other classes. However, I don't see any reason to go crazy with that. Let's just keep it simple. Let's grab Shieldcraft right away. So that uses up all 5 of my points, and now I can put a shield on, as well as the Gildemolard. I can also put on my armor, and ready to party. We are ready to party. Let's melt down this stuff. So I can't melt down tier 0 items, but I can go ahead and melt down everything else. And last, of course, gotta make sure you don't forget to go over here and spend 47 stat points, because, you know, that's totally fair. Let's get everything up to 16. I think that's worth doing. Let's get this up to 20. And, okay, so Science and Foom, I don't know. I should read a strategy guide to find out whether it's worth upgrading those to 20 as a Bannermans. Maybe Science, just to increase the duration of things. I don't know how much it actually impacts your duration. So here, to keep things a little bit more interesting, I'm not going to go to the Scrollbold Warren. Let's go to some other dungeon that we haven't actually done before. Because, you know, that'll just be a little bit more interesting. And I did manage to luck sack my way into a sweet weapon. This is like this is a tier 2 weapon. I'm not sure I've ever seen a tier 3 polearm. So that's about as good as I could possibly have hoped for. Short of getting, you know, one that had a freeze effect. That is just really insanely fortunate. I gotta admit, this wizard ragdoll, it's not a ragdoll because it doesn't have things added to it, but this wizard sprite is tripping me up a lot more than I was expecting. It just looks so wrong, but it's fine. It's hilarious. All right, we got a secret around here somewhere. Oh, God damn these secrets. Secrets are hard to find. Secrets. Fucking piss me off. Come on, where's the goddamn secret? Oh, is it in here? Ah, you. I don't have any money. There's really no point in shopping. I just have 6 silver. Anything worth buying would cost more than that. One question, of course, is should I explore the whole level? or just go down as soon as I can. I think I will explore the whole level. I think if for no other reason than just to get the experience killing the monsters. Oh, I got a stat point, or a mastery point. Well, let's go ahead and see if there's anything I can get right now. So for armor, I can't. For bannering, I could get this other banner, which is sometimes useful to have. You know, it's kind of weird. So you do deal more damage with ranged attacks, meaning if you're 2 steps away from something, you'll deal more damage to it. But what the problem with this banner is that the enemy needs to be within its shadow to actually suffer from its negative effects. At the same time, as you upgrade it, it gets some pretty cool things. So now you take less damage from the enemy's magic attacks as long as the enemies are within the banner, which is significant because that's some of the scariest stuff, is stuff that shoots magic to you at range. And then you also steal mana and stamina, which can be helpful. And then the final one is, again, really cool, though it's got a typo. It's got a banner power with 2 R's. Wait, do they all do that? No, these don't. They just have 1 R. So those are actually some typos here. But basically, anything that you attack can get damaged with Starlight and be pinned in place. And that's just a part of using the banner. So I could take this, use it occasionally against enemies that are at range. But because I want to go up to the top tier of both of these trees, and I don't particularly care about this. Although an extra action, you can drink a potion with that action, or step away and attack something. Yeah, I guess I would take that with this guy, because survivability is not often an issue, but it is sometimes. So because of that, I'm not going to put the point in here now. I'm just going to save my point and use it on level 3 to get 2 level 3 skills at once. Okay, sorry, that was kind of convoluted. Oh wait, no, I don't want that. I want to look at the map. So there's a door over here, which I will go to. If it seems like I'm very strong, it's because I'm wielding a tier 2 polearm. I mean, just to put things in perspective, you'd be lucky to find a tier 1 polearm that would improve your... And in fact, the tier 1 polearm is worse than the tier 0 polearm that you start with, because since I've upgraded my Helter Smelter guy, every piece of equipment that I start with on my new character is +2, which means that the starting polearm is actually better than the tier 1 polearms. Oh, right, I'm clicking the wrong button. There's danger. Oh, yes, there is danger. Stranger danger. Ooh, I picked up a thing on the way. That was so nice. Oh, I was about to shoot it with my bow, and I was like, why doesn't I shoot it with my bow? Okay, we're down to level 2, so things should be a little bit harder here. But again, I'm wielding a weapon that is very far beyond what I could normally expect to be using at this point. I should still be using my, like, battle branch +2, and hey, there's a secret somewhere. I assumed it was out to the left, but it could be to the right. And it is. Oh, it's a bookcase guy. Alright. There aren't that many secrets I would really care about. Most secrets are either an enemy that would just murder me, or a bookcase guy that I don't care about, or a portal I don't want to go into. But I think there are some I would use. There's sometimes you just get chests, sometimes you get mysterious pools, which I would use if I could figure out that they were good. The secret chest is definitely the best thing you can find. Alright, there's a bunch of doors near the starting room, so let me check those out before I keep going. Wait, that guy just run around me? That's weird. Oh, right, he was ranged. That's why he ran around me. Makes sense. I am playing a bit carelessly and stepping into monsters without remembering that I can attack them from range. That's because I got used to playing as the Pyromancer. Okay, there's level 3. So now we're gonna get this thing, which is really nice because it gives me some area of effect damage. And I'm also gonna take this, which makes me grotesquely overpowered at this stage of the game. One thing that's worth remembering is that the pre-made Bannermans puts, for reasons I just will never understand, points in, I need to actually put that skill bar, or that skill out here. puts points into these two things, which, because you use pole arms, do literally nothing for you, which is kind of a problem. Because that's just 2 wasted stat points that as soon as you find a pole arm and start wielding it, you know, you're good to go. And you might say, well, Papa Boris, you know, having that lets you use a 2-handed weapon if you can't find a pole arm. The thing is that once you've, if you upgrade your starting weapons, then your starting polearm is better than a tier 1 polearm, as I've said before. So you don't need to upgrade your polearm you don't need to like find a polearm, really, until you get to tier 2, and then you can just search the shops till you find one. There's a secret above the staircase. Interesting. Alright, I don't mind that too much. Damn, that's actually a remarkably timid exclamation. Ah, the mysterious pools. Good feeling. Alright, it just gives me some kind of temporary buff. I'm a champion buff, alright. Another buff of some sort. Let's not drink from there. Alright, well that was pretty pointless. I also caught the scent of old leather. I could search for that secret, but there's really no point because I don't want to buy anything. Oh wait, no, if it's the library, I can find books and scrolls. I think that actually would be worth looking for. Dang it, where? So it was around here that it said I caught the scent of old leather. Well, I'm not sure. Chain. Bloody pancakes. Crap. I don't know. Guess I'm not sure where that library is. So this is, just a reminder, a Dungeonmans character, which is quote-unquote professional tier. But as you can see, like, as long as you have any idea of what other characters start with, like, yes, if your first character ever was a Dungeonmans, it would be really overwhelming, because you'd have to, like, read the text of like a bajillion different skill trees trying to figure out what the hell to do. But as long as you have like ever played any other character, it's like, oh, well, this is simple. I know what masteries it starts with, so I'm just gonna take that other character's mastery. I'm just gonna put things into bows if I want to play as a ranger, or into the banner stuff if I want to play as a bannermancer. It's not like the Necromancer or the Southern Gentlemen's, which I realize I've never shown, so you just kind of have to take my word for it at this point, which are really, really genuinely complicated to play. And their mastery points start out committed to their trees, which makes it really, really challenging to play as those classes. There's also, I haven't never actually talked about them, there is also the Touristmans, which is a very challenging class to play. The Touristmans actually starts, I believe, with only 3 points. 3 mastery points? 3 or 4 rather than 5. And 2 of them are put into these dungeoneering skills, or I think, actually no, one of them. One of them is put into like cartography or something, or like, I think it's advanced delving. So you don't actually have the same number of stat points as everyone else. And some of the stat points that you do have are placed in things that do not help you defeat monsters and or not die. Oh, hey, there's a riot girl down here. So it's a very challenging class because you're just weaker than everyone else. But interestingly, you know, you're not that much weaker, strictly speaking, than some of the other classes that have skill points wasted. So, for example, the Bannerman's class, which is just a regular old preset, you know, it's got 2 skill points wasted, so it's kind of like the Touristmans in a way. But here we should be playing a stronger version of the Bannermans than the one that the game comes with, because I got to pick my own stat points and not waste them. And on top of that, I picked the right perks this time. That's not the game's fault that I picked bad perks last time. That was mine. Also, I got very lucky uncovering an artifact submitted to the museum by a previous dungeon or Lady Dungeonmans, in that I got a tier 2 polearm right off the bat. Since I've never even seen a tier 3 polearm, this is something I'm going to be using for a really long time. And it's nice to just get that right off the bat. Okay, hi guys. How's it going? Bonkety, schlonkety, ponkety doo. Alright, is this going to be a problem? Well, not if it doesn't attack me. The answer to that question, I suppose, is therefore no. Okay. Oh my god, how did I forget? I have this shield, but I probably have found a better one by now. Let's see. Spell power, no thanks. Okay, that'll do. It's a 2-star buckler. It's fine. I would eventually like to wear a large shield, of course, because I don't really care about the max stamina reduction. Here, however, I'm reducing stamina, and all I get in return is 2 bonus armor, so it's not really worth it. Because it makes sense, because that's actually just a tier 1 large shield. I'm wearing a tier 2 regular shield, so that explains why. I'll hold out for a proper level large shield before I switch. Yeah, this is really not worth it in the slightest. Shoulder poncho. Okay, that's fine. Obviously, weapons I never need to look at because I'm not going to find anything better than my weapon until probably after I beat that tower that my last 2 heroes died at. I just let myself bleed for absolutely no reason. Bonk. Along. There's a secret. Well, it's not over here, I can just tell. So it might be... No, the air sensor of the powerful evil, that's not a secret, that's just a warning. Okay. So I don't think I want to put any points there, but thanks, game, for the offer. So I got level 4. If I don't put a point into something now, because I'm like saving for level 6, that I'm not going to put a point into anything next level up either. Let's look. There's nothing to go here. I could get this thing. I'll take it. It's something I hope I never have to use. And since I don't like the top tier ability for real armor very much, this is really kind of a underutilized mastery point as far as that goes. Just because it's something that, you know, hopefully will never happen. Like, I really hope I never go below 20% of my maximum health. But, oh yes, it's the snakes. I love the snakes. This is just so therapeutic. Like, people who are depressed should get a room like this, except where there's like 100 snakes and they just keep coming at you. Ah! See, I really should never drop below 5th of my health if I'm playing correctly. But if it ever does happen, because I'm careless, that skill point could save my life by letting me, you know, drink an extra potion or whatever. Keep in mind that I am taking extra damage from everything because I did take the perk that gives me an extra action. 1 round out of 5. As you can see, like, I'm still doing just fine. Although this is just the first dungeon. Now, it is a harder dungeon than the Scoreboard Warren, and I do have an overpowered weapon. So this is not necessarily an indication that the perk is not going to bite me later. Hey, Cube. You doing good in those barrels? Having a good time hanging out? I really should watch down. You can see in the bottom right when your next action is up, like right there, it's up. And probably use that to your advantage by taking a step back from melee enemies and then hitting them with your polearm. Okay, let's make sure we drop the banner down. There's not anything here that's really using range against me, which is good, but let me turn on Fervor as well. That was actually an extra action. Alright, this thing can die. I just did a counterattack, I think. I hope that was me doing the counterattack. Can I hit this bee? I can't. So I'm gonna go here and shoot this bee to death so it's not bugging me. This guy just did his arrow up thing, so I'm just gonna take a step away. It did its arrow up thing, so I'm gonna take a step No, I don't know why. I didn't really take a step away. Oh, yeah, I didn't want to get out of the banner's range. Right. Okay. I think I can just honestly beat this in a straight fight. Kill off that cube, because those do hit pretty hard. Yeah, I hit it when it was all glowy, and that caused me to start bleeding. I'm going to turn Fervor back on, because that cancels out the bleeding. And then I'm going to whack it and heal up. For my banner. I really should just stop attacking it while it's got that shit going on. Alright, so let's drop the banner down. It did this thing, so I'm going to take a step away. It switched places with me. Let me step away, step away, step away. Extra action, attack, attack again. It did its thing, so I'm going to step away, then kill it. And there we go. Okay. Not the finest Bannerman's play that has ever been seen, considering, you know, all the advantages I have with, you know, overpowered stats, because of all the proof of strength that have been submitted, and the overpowered weapon that I should have no business having at this point of the game, and the fact that I got to pick my own skills. But anyway, we made it. It was a bit scary. Certainly, the, bonk. Certainly, taking 15% extra damage from everything factors into it. There's an extra thing up here. I don't care about that enough, however. We leveled up to 4. I don't know if you normally level up to 4 from the Scrollbold War, and I believe you would only level up to 3. But I could be misremembering. Let's blow this. What the heck? Oh, they do not let you auto-clear this place. Interesting. I wonder why that is. Maybe because it's plot relevant. When you first make your character, they technically give you a quest of like go in there and get the alchemy lab thing. Now, obviously that is only relevant the first time, but maybe because of that, the Scrollbold Warren is unblowable. Okay, let's take a look at how much time this has been. 27 minutes. Okay, let's go ahead and do this before we go back to the academy. Hopefully I don't die here. Well, I did start right in the thick of things. Alright, let me see what I can do with this. Not much, actually, over here. So let me kill those guys. Then, let me drop the banner and Fervor up. I'm going to attack the boss to get the guy behind him. I'm going to attack her. That was me doing a counterattack. Okay, I'm going to take a step this way. So I can shoot thing there. I'm going to step out of the fire. That was an extra action, so I can hit this guy. I don't think this guy does the counterattacks. So I'm just going to go ahead and trade blow for blow. Yeah, I am doing pretty well here. I took no damage from that fight. Alright, I think that one I am grossly overpowered and would have won no matter what I did. But I actually played that correctly, unlike the dungeon that we did where I was overpowered and would have won no matter what I did, and played like crap. Alright, let me go over here. Try to kill off these bitches. How about this? Nope, just hits the one, but if I step forward, kill them all. Yeah, I'm feeling it, that 15% extra damage from everything. Oh man, maybe it's not worth the extra action. Well, alright, we'll just say that, you know, it adds some extra challenge to what might otherwise have been a boring run. Let's just say that. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, to the overworld we go. What's next? I want to go somewhere adventurous. I do have an amazing weapon. This is actually trivial. Okay, let's just do that. Just because I always want to do these, even if they're trivial. I want to do them because the rewards are worth it. Luckily, a lot of these guys are coming at me. Does this hit them both? It does. That guy actually died in the fire. Bloody! Alright. Bloody! Pip pip. Okay. With apologies to all British people. I'm sure British people are just so sick of like, oh, fucking Americans every single time with their pips and their Cheerios. Come on, come up with something original for once, you wankers. Alright, so let's do this. Let's drop the banner while this guy goes around. Get some free attacks. Oh, there's a bomb guy. You know what? Fuck it, let's just stand at the bomb. It's fine. I think I can withstand the fire and flames better than the boss can. I wonder, do I steal health if I attack these barricades? I do. I life steal from the barricades. That's an interesting strategy, I suppose, to keep in mind. What is that guy throwing? Shoes? I swear it looked like a giant clog that he chucked at my face. Alright, so we're done with that. Is this trivial as well? This is actually trivial, so I get to blow up another dungeon. Okay. That's a good start. This is mundane now, so it should be a little bit harder. I'll do it. I want to get those purloined inventories going, although it's still pretty much the same stuff, so okay. Let's drop this first to kill off those guys. Let's drop the banner next. Let's fervor up, because all these guys deal physical damage. Punch. If I attack this, it'll hit the girl behind him. Oh no, it chose to hit the barricade behind him. Wow, thanks, game. Okay. Let's try to kill off the girl. He's standing in the fire. That's very admirable of him. I think I can just trade blows. I can ignore the shoes those guys are throwing at me and be okay. Punch. Extended explosion. Only one purloined inventory, but I got a proof of strength, which if I'm not mistaken is quite fortunate because you do not always get. Like I was hiding behind a tree. What a wanker, seriously. You do not necessarily get proofs of strength from these guys the way that you do from other champions. Ah, it's the resigned tosser, my favorite. My first couple of times playing Bannerman, I ignored the tree, the top tree, the Starlight Soldier tree. I was like, I don't really care about that, but I think that's a mistake. I think you should get those skills. The area of effect and the slight range that you get really go a long way towards counteracting your biggest drawbacks, which is a lack of range damage and a lack of area effects. Okay, so here, the video would get a little long in the tooth, I reckon, if I did a whole dungeon. So we're gonna do an adventurous thing here. Okay, this is a little bit better than the last one. Lots of archers. Let's turn on fervor so that we don't bleed. Let's put the banner down. Kill off the archer. Kill off that thing. If I hit the barricade, will it hit the archer behind it? It'll hit the barricade behind it. Thanks. Yeah, there's a little bit of a screw up here, treating the barricades like people. That should be like a protest on Wall Street. Barricades are not people, man! Oh, I'm bleeding. So fervor up to get rid of that. Step forward. Get these archers dead. Okay. Archers are just like, oh, hey Frank, do you think we should join in that battle that's happening? No, Gare, we need to destroy these barriers immediately. Let's just shoot at them. Why didn't we do that before the fight started, Gary? Well, don't question things, Hank. This is just how we do things around here. Oh, that guy's got a lot of health. Bandit Spark Tosser really bringing some A-game. Okay, so I think we took care of business over here. I don't think I've actually killed the champion, though. So let's kill the champion. Am I going to be able to shoot this thing? Not quite. Okay, so fervor to stop the bleeding. Break the barricade. Let me just kill that archer. Oh, man, that thing is alive with 1 health. Butts on a cracker. Alright, I'm going to just step forward and kill the archer that way. Oh, jeez, I forgot. Don't do that. When it does that, just take a step back. There we go. It's kind of tricky, though, to stay within the range of the banner. But I've got some room to work with. Ah, and it switched places with me. How convenient. Alright, take a step back. Don't attack it when it's about to do its thing. There we go. Man, those things have a lot of built-up angst. They should really see a therapist, and maybe it wouldn't take so long to explode. We got 2 Perlin inventories and a proof of strength there. So I think I'm going to call it here. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Please like and or subscribe if you want to stick around now and see me do some academy management. That's what's going to happen now. So, go back to the academy. We got some... I don't think I actually have any books. But we do have some proofs of strength to make future champions even more overpowered. Got some more knowledge. A relic. Anything there? Nope. Time to take a look at what we got. Oh, I don't know what I got because... Oh, I already found a Gilded Mollard. Alright, cool. I guess I got lucky there and I would have had a weapon soon enough. Let's identify all this shizat. So that's junk. Sprawlitzers are junk. Lots of Sprawlitzers, land's sakes. These aren't cursed, I hope. These things I put on without checking. Okay. Bendy Iron Heater is not very good. That is tempting. So I lose the stamina there for some extra dodge and parry. I don't think it's worth it. This is not quite as good. Spell power, no thanks. Already wearing one of those. Decreased mana cost is not really worth it, I don't think. Stamina is what I run out of, not mana. The thing is, all my skills are mana and stamina, so they have a strain attached to them, which stops me from using them in rapid succession. That's pretty much all you need mana for, is using things in rapid succession. If you're waiting, then you're gonna get the mana back. Okay, we can put on the bandana for some reduced stamina costs, even though it's a minor reduction. Base health. Alright, I'm gonna get the base health. I think that's more important for him. Even if it's only 3 extra points of health, I think it's worth it. Because there have been a couple of times, I think twice in this series, where I've gotten down to 1 health, so it matters. Alright, still not worth it. Wall of the red and white. There's a large shield with significantly more block and a significant bonus armor. So I'm actually going to put this on, so my stamina drops from 77 to 61. I'll take it. So that's like 1 less ability to use, but I haven't really ever gone too far down yet, so hopefully it won't be a big problem. This is an upgrade, some poison resistance. Very nice. This is an upgrade with some extra poison resistance. This is fire resistance with some parry and block. I think I'd rather have that than just the dodge, so I'm going to actually put this on instead. We've got enough poison resistance, I think. We got a accurate ring, which is great. Look at that high selling gold price. I don't know why this thing is so easy to find, but I seem to find it all the time. Terror boots. I don't have any boots. Okay, let's put that on, and then everything else is just stuff. So what I want to look for is ways of upgrading my weapon. Bolster weapon is not as good as fortify weapon, but I'm tempted to hold out for fortify weapon because fortify weapon can give me a freeze attached, and I will be using this weapon for a while, so it may be worth my while to hold out and try to find the fortify weapon rather than bolster weapon. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Instead, we're going to grab bolster armor. Actually, these are only tier 1 armors. This is tier 2. Let me put it on the shield. Okay, so what did it get? 20 fire resist. Fine. I will use these bolster weapons if that's what it comes to. Did I just have the 1 bolster armor? I guess I just did. Okay, so that's that. Alright, let's go over to this guy now that I've got everything. Unlocked non-magical gears, which you can use if you want to keep your magical stuff. Okay, but you can't just melt down the magical gear. So for Psychomancers who want to keep their regular stuff and don't want to, and do want to get rid of their magical stuff, there's actually no way to do it other than manually locking everything. Yeah, so that's why Psychomancers don't ever want to go here. It's just too clumsy from the inventory management standpoint to actually do it. Okay, so let's melt this all down. Alright, you know what? I have so much tin steel right now, I think it's actually worth considering making some upgrade hammers. In particular, I believe there's one I could use here that can cause me to freeze things. Maybe not. Oh, freezinating. So 300 beryllium. So it's a lot of beryllium, but on the other hand, what else am I spending beryllium on? I guess, yeah, to upgrade the War Gear Vault is crushonium. That's not beryllium. And then to upgrade starting weapons and armor, it's all crushonium all day long. singing a song. So what else is there? There's nothing else to do that I can see. So you know what? I am going to actually buy one of these upgrade hammers. We're going to spend most of my beryllium to make my polearm Friezenate, on the grounds that it's going to be a while before I find a tier 3 polearm. And having that Friezenating ability could help me beat that tower. But, you know, on the other hand, it's tempting, isn't it, to just not do it? Because that is, like, almost all my beryllium. And it's going to be a while before I get back up to that much. It's going to be a while before I get up to that much. And when I do find the tier 3 polearm, it's going to be gone. Basically, these are sort of like scrolls of fortifying weapons that let you pick what effect to get. Yeah, I'm not really swimming in that much beryllium yet. Let's see, is there anything good for tin steel? So poison resist. Bleeding is good, but that's beryllium. Beryllium. Fire resist. Beryllium. Cold damage is pretty trivial. Okay. Yeah, the good stuff. Wow. 2d6 stellite damage is crushonium. Dang. That's Fumanite. Whoa, I haven't even found any Fumanite at all. Beryllium. 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 That would be a good one, but that's Fumanite. Ah, this might be the one to get. Okay, because that's 2.5 extra poison damage on average, plus the filling them with poison helps against a boss. So let's go ahead and do this. So the first hammer that you use is guaranteed to succeed, but every future hammer that you use on the same item could actually destroy it, as you can see from that red text. So you gotta be careful with these, because you really can only, unlike the scrolls, which causes the scroll to be destroyed, the hammer can cause the item to be destroyed. So you really don't want to do more than one hammer per item. Okay, so now I got some extra damage. I actually get health back on a kill with this weapon, which is apparently a 400 Fumanite level enchantment. So that's quite the hell of an artifact. And I get, you know, an extra, what is that? 7.5 damage plus the potential for poison damage. Alright, so that's pretty good. I think I'm happy with that. Can I actually bolster this weapon some more? I'm curious. No, because it has 4 enchantments. The hammer gave it 2 enchantments. So, okay, that's as good as it gets. So, maybe when I find a tier 3 polearm, and I operate under the assumption that it'll be a really long time before I find a tier 4 polearm, that's when I'll get that hammer. You should really only buy hammers, obviously, to upgrade weapons of classes that you expect to play with for a while. A cool thing, though, that I just thought about is that if you do upgrade a weapon, then when your hero is avenged, that weapon will be picked up. Now, I don't know, when you find the grave of a champion, if you are always going to pick up the weapon that they had, or if you can pick up some other piece of gear they had. It's always been weapons for me so far. But if you can pick up that weapon, then that 300 beryllium that you spent will be carried on, at least for every character that you have that uses the same weapon type. So in my case, it would be future Bannermans, or any other polearm wielding character that I might make, although I think Bannermans would pretty much be the only ones that do it. So yeah, I could spend that beryllium, make it freezy, and then as long as I avenge him and manage to get the weapon back to the vault, something worth considering. Anyway, apparently I have 10 points to spend here, so should I get my science and flume up to 20, or just keep going for strength? Well, let's get these up to the point where they cost 4 to improve, and then we'll get the science and flume up. So this gives me some elemental resistance. This gives me a little bit of spell power and stamina. Alright, I'm going to do this because I do have some area damage things, and I wouldn't mind a little bit of extra stamina. So 6 extra stamina could make a difference. Okay, that'll do it for this video, folks. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. Please like and or subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.